southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
What's going on, guys? Tristan and Tony here with the One Hell of a Life podcast.
What's up?
Today we got on Kent Jones, owner of East Coast Waterfowl. Many of y'all recognize that name, and probably a lot of y'all that wear their hats and their merch and stuff. And we're excited to have Kent on. Kent, thank you for taking the time out to come on the podcast tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah,
been following y'all for a long time, man. This is a dream come true.
Well, we feel like it's a dream come true to have you on, man. It's cool to, you got a good thing going.
Yeah, no, I mean, y'all, if you're hearing this for the first time or you haven't checked out East Coast Waterfowl, let me just sum up real quick for you what we're getting ready to get into. These guys, in my opinion, are the best retailer on waterfowl in the East Coast Atlantic Flyway, period.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I appreciate it.
No, you guys run an incredible business. Your products are unique. They're cool. They're awesome. They're trendy. All that stuff, and it fits every age group. That's what I love. I mean, you got stuff that's old school, new school. When Tristan tried to get me into these rope hats, I was like, oh, they're kind of stupid looking, and then these 7 panels, I was like, it makes me feel like I'm wearing an old Bill Dance Bass Pro hat, and all this stuff. But the trends are cool, the products are cool, and it's really made our sport better. Folks like you that go out there and create these great products, it just creates such a better image of our whole industry. So thank you, man. Thank you for taking time out tonight.
Yes, sir. No problem. Yeah, we try to be different from what everyone else does. There's new brands that pop up every day. I see all over every day, but we try to be ahead of the curve and create those trends and kind of start, be ahead of our time, I guess you should say. And we like to bring some of the old school back, like your old school camos and your vintage looks. Mm-hmm. And then also we like to create new stuff that's very innovative and different, something new to the industry. Even every single year, we got some awesome stuff coming this year. I'm super excited about. So
no, I'm humbled. We do just a little bit of merch here. That's not our push. But we do a little bit of merch for our followers. Because I think it's necessary. But what I have to go through sometimes to design a hat, to outline it, to get the work done, all that stuff. At the end of the day, I'm using a straw to get air. It's just
it's not easy, and we realize that as well. I've been doing this since 2013, and so when I first started, man, it was just like I went to a local guy that made the hats and t-shirts for my parents, and he had a little shop, and I said, man, I have this idea. I've been starting this Instagram page. And so it's blown up and people are wanting hats and shirts. I said, man, I need some hats and shirts. And he's like, all right, well, what do you want? And I said, what are you going to call it? I said, East Coast Waterfowl. He literally typed up something. He's like, I was like, I want cursive font. And he was like, okay. Well, he came back to me a couple of days later and come up with this one script I have. And just kind of come up with the ECW and then the script. And that's how it all started, man. And started selling hats and shirts to my friends, and then started everybody else kind of wanted it. And then on Instagram, really back then there was in 2013, as I say back then, but in 2013, Shopify was not around that I knew of, and I was trying to figure out a way how to do it. And I was having to have people email me. And then when they emailed me, I had to send a PayPal link. It was just super difficult. Right.
Yeah.
But, working hard for that money.
Yeah. Venmo and Cash App would have been so nice back then, but I was using a Nextel back then,
Yeah, right. Exactly. And when I don't even know, I guess we were beyond the point where you had to text and hold down buttons.
Yeah. I think iPhones were out by then. I probably won't use a Nextel then, but you kind of see what I'm saying. It was one of those things where it was not easy as it is nowadays to do what we're doing. And man, it's been a heck of a journey. And so then even when we started our new endeavor with the B2B side, like business to business side, making hats for other people, we realized how hard it is for you to have a thought and an image in your head and put that on a hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so for us, we try to make that as simple as we can. And it's kind of crazy how things have evolved over the years, but I'm happy for it,
Well, and it's so hard to, I mean, as you know, it's so hard to come up with like a unique, cool idea, and like you said, brands pop up every day, and for somebody like you can't, like, you guys are really kind of an OG in this space of having a waterfowl retail brand, with hats and stuff.
Well, and then I just watched you do one that was so cool, unique, that leather patch hat, turkey hat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta think it's like, it's gotta be even harder for you, because, having the presence that y'all have, it's like to try to keep, pressing the boundaries of doing something unique,
Because, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I look at what everybody else is doing, and then I say, all right, I see what everyone else is doing. Well, let me do something different. And sometimes I eat it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I eat the hat that doesn't sell, and it sits on the shelf, and I have to mark it down to about what I got in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes you hit that one, and man, it just pays for all the other ones that you messed up.
Yep.
Cool.
So, man, what really, tell us the story of Kent. Like, help our listeners understand, like where you come from, where you live, a little bit about your personal, and get into the profession. I mean, obviously, you kind of just told us a little bit about how you got East Coast Waterfowl started, but a little bit more about, who's Kent Jones.
So I am born and raised here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was born in Raleigh and grew up outside of Raleigh at Willow Springs. My family was into farming and like developmental stuff, like where they develop like neighborhoods and all that sort of stuff. And so they did a little bit of both. And so I grew up on a farm, and all my family lives within 10 minutes of where I live. And we all pretty much, are all together all the time.
That's awesome.
But we always there to help each other. And I grew up with, a big family-oriented orientation where, we're always together and people help out everybody. And so I started up in middle school and high school. I started middle school hunting, killed my first duck with my dad in a swamp right near that my grandpa owned that is right near where I live now. And man, I'll never forget that moment when literally the hole was probably the size of a basketball court, if you want to say. The hole was the size of a basketball court, but half of it was trees and half of it was water. And the ducks literally come in a V in between the trees. I remember my dad saying, that duck's going to come right through that V right there. He's going to hit the water, and I want you to shoot him when he hits the water.
Oh, man.
But, of course, the ducks are coming, and it's wood ducks. So,
sure.
I mean, they started flooding in there, and I got trigger happy. And by the time they busted that V, I started shooting. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I was like, man, this is awesome. He's like, let her hit the water. So finally, after a couple misses on the water, I finally got me one. And because, as soon as the wood duck hits the water, they start swimming. Well, I was just, I seen a splash, and I started shooting. And he's like, just wait a minute. He said, no, see him in your barrel. And then, I don't know. I probably was in the 6th grade at this point. And, I was hooked after that. My first wood duck was a hen.
Wow.
And, it was super cool. I loved it. And then from then on out, my dad, we would go duck hunting, of course, like Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, but we would always go in the afternoon and go deer hunting, which is a little bit easier. And after school, I'd wait for my dad to come home. He would drive the dump truck home and, like, all right, you ready to go? We hop in his old Toyota and go deer hunting down the street. That was like my highlight of the week when we got to go deer hunting in deer season. And they were into running dogs. I know y'all talked to Jared about running dogs. And, and they did that back then too. And that was a lot of fun. I remember that, sitting on the toolbox and missing a mini deer. But yeah, so I grew up deer hunting mostly, and then duck hunting. In high school, I really began to fall in love with duck hunting. I met some folks in high school, and I'm still friends with them today. And they really got me into it. And no one else had really places to go except public land. But my grandparents owned a bunch of land, so we just we had places galore. We did back in the day. Now it's all been shrunk in from neighborhoods coming in and stuff like that. But back in the day, man, we had places we could go a different place. We'd skip school. I can't tell you how many times got yelled at by my parents for skipping school to go duck hunting. I'm like, it's only a couple times a month, Mom. You know,
when you got the fever, you got the fever, man.
That's right. That's right. And man, it was. My revolved my whole and senior year was the worst one because senior year they give you like you could get a work release or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could do it like you could work in the morning or work in the afternoon. I did it in the morning. I never worked at a single time. I got the lady I helped on the weekend that got her to sign this thing, and man, I was duck hunting. Me and my buddies, we were all in the same class. We were all duck hunting everybody. My mom's mom lived there right in town where we went to school. We'd run by her house, drop our shotguns off, and go to school. And she's like, you sure are hunting a lot. I'm like, oh, I'm going to school too, Grandma. Don't you worry.
Go to school too.
So whenever, and then I got to where I could drive in high school, and then we started after high school and started college. I got the favor of going out of state and doing fun stuff like that, driving to the coast, and then got a boat, and then loved hunting off a boat. I have a boat blind off the marsh, and I discovered hunting down east of North Carolina, which is a whole different breed of hunting. I'm sure y'all talked about that with Jared too.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's totally different down there than it is around here, and you can go to the western part of the state and it'd be totally different too. So I just discovered my love for hunting different places and hunting different ducks. I mean, you can go down there and shoot just about whatever you want down east in North Carolina. It's pretty wild.
Dude, I think one thing that we've just observed of growing up, or not growing up, but like becoming duck hunters in Florida, like it's just, you were saying, you fell in love with hunting these different environments, and that's one thing that like me and my dad have really draws us to duck hunting, is like just hunting these different environments and different species and stuff, versus like you talk to these guys in the Midwest that are your quote mallard purists. It's that's a completely different thing than what like we're used to on the East Coast. Like
that's why we have this. And if we're gonna, Tristan, you can show this. This sticker. This is my best marketing idea. That doesn't hold a candle to what you do, Kent. But if you want to do a hat on this, me and you got to talk. It's a blue wing teal purist.
Yep. That's about just about every other bird we shoot in Florida.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and. No, but I'll tell you what, man, and I forgot who we were talking to about this on a podcast not too long ago. Dude, y'all in North Carolina, that's your duck hunting, smashing sleeper state. As waterfowlers, we experience all kinds of extreme weather conditions. Stay bone dry and warm with Frog Togs hunting gear. You can check them out at frogtogs.com or at frogtogshunt on Instagram. I believe that you guys are so good at keeping a hush-hush on the private lands out in North Carolina that you guys lock them up and smash them in North Carolina. I mean, I really believe that. I got some different things to say about the state below you. I don't really care for them as much.
They're more buy your birds and shoot them. That's what you're gonna do in South Carolina.
No, but you guys, you don't hear much about. I talked to somebody about this on a podcast. I'm like, dude, everybody I know from North Carolina, they're good duck hunters, and they smoke them. They're good shots and all that stuff. And even when we talk to Kate at Delta Thunder Outfitters or something, he'll talk about North Carolina guys. And dude, y'all shoot ducks. That's the bottom line. And you've kept a pretty good word about keeping that public land private.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, you can go down there. It is slept on a lot. Now, there's a lot of hunters here because we're so populated, because everyone wants to move here. But man, when I was I worked at the police department for 7 years before I just started doing East Coast full time. And man, I tell you, there was I met so many duck hunters, people I didn't know duck hunted that duck hunted. And dude, it's insane the amount of places they go and the amount of places they have. And I have a group of buddies that were police officers, and we would get off work on, say, our last morning. We would work night shift and then go and take turns driving there and driving back, and we would go down east and we would smash a limit of ducks and come back and be home by lunchtime.
That's beautiful.
I mean, a lot of times you're shooting bluebills and redheads and stuff like that. And you know your limit's only 2. You shoot 2. I shoot my 2. You shoot your 2. You basically 4 flocks into this, and you're going back home. You know what I mean? You're not going to see anything else in certain areas. Like if you go down east in North Carolina, you're going to shoot a lot of bluebills, a lot of redheads, and then you're lucky if you get some stragglers. Like, but we were just so tired and beat from working all the past 2 nights or 3 nights. We're like, let's go down there, let's shoot some ducks, let's hurry back, and it was great, man. And so it is slept on. It is tough. Now you can go, there's a lot of places you can go and you can't see a single thing, but this year we had a phenomenal season, man. And my thing is so if you see me post a story, post a picture, 90% of the time it was a couple of days before. Because the game wardens in our area and in North Carolina like really harp on social media. So a funny story. I had the game warden. My buddy had a place down east, and he's like, the game wardens have been in here. He said, we're probably going to get caught. And he said, just make sure you got your stuff right. I said, okay, cool. Like they're just going to come check us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the guy said, we're hunting. It's basically a big cypress run. And this run runs for like 4 miles. People up above us and below us were all corning, right? Yeah. And so my buddy has trail cameras on his deer spot that we were walking by, and he caught the game warden walking in on his side, because his side was pretty much the easiest access to it because he has a mulching. He just mulched right to where we walk in at, right? Oh, yeah. And so, and apparently, I guess they had for walking in from his place and then walking up and walking down. Well, we get in there. I take all the videos. We shoot. We're not shooting ducks that are landing. We're shooting passerby ducks, and they just fly right below the tree line, and we warm out. They fly down the run of the creek. It's the same thing. You can go in there and shoot 11 wood ducks in no time, right? And so I do all that sort of stuff, and I don't post it that morning. I posted it like 2 days after, and when I posted it as like we say we were hunting that morning, sure enough, the game warden. He called it. He has one of the cell cameras. He said he texted me about 30 minutes after I posted my first story. We were walking in. It's a clear. It's when you walk in, you can just clearly. It's predominant where we're at, you know. And I guess that game warden knew right where we were at, and he went in there 30 minutes after I posted one of us walking in about the time it would be for shooting time. And that game warden's probably confused to this day, but, but hey, I'm telling you, he's like, this is why I don't want you posting stuff, you know, beforehand. I mean, you know, we're not doing anything wrong. It's just that if you post stuff like that, them game wardens, they'll just harass you for no reason. Sometimes.
They will, because I mean, they're just doing their job and they're following their leads, you know. I mean, and they know it's a numbers game, and they're just out there to do that and protect us, protect the waterfowl and all that stuff. Yeah, but man, they do.
We started like if you know we're making a video or whatever, and we're having a hell of a hunt. Like we're big on when we're showing stuff on video, because you know how it is if. Let's say you get a flock of 20 ducks that comes in, you got 6-7 guys there, and you drop freaking 10 ducks. Yeah. Like you gotta so we'll show on video like us, like if it's a day like that, like making sure people got their limits and that kind of thing, because we never want to be in that situation.
We even will go as far as as we shoot them, we start to create the piles. The piles right behind them and stuff. Because we don't ever want there to be a question.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's right. That's right. And that's my thing too. And like, that's the good thing about having a dog is like, you don't lose any birds. Cause I've had friends that, they didn't find the bird, and the game warden was walking around making sure there's no corn, and he picks up a bird and they already had their limit.
Yeah. And that son of a bitch. I hate that.
And you're like, oh crap. You know what I mean?
I know.
So that's another good thing about having the having a dog and all that sort of stuff, and it makes it nice to where you can kind of keep up with it. And the best thing I ever did is buy a bunch of 6 drop totes from my buddy VPC Lanyards. I'll give him a shout out on here.
Nice.
He makes lanyards, and he has little drop totes that are 6 each. And so most times, if I know it's going to be a good hunt, I give everybody their 6 ducks, their tote, and then hey, once you fill your tote up, you're done. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that's kind of what we started doing in the past 2 years. I started it when we went to Kansas on a hunt because things just got so crazy there so fast. When you're shooting mallards in your face and
Yeah.
their feet down with your feet around. You're like, this is wild. Keep shooting. we better hold it back a little bit.
Hell yeah, shoot him, cuz.
Yeah.
No, it's true, and you gotta, I guess you just, the big point here is you just gotta be smart about what you're doing,
That's right. That's right.
It is. And, Tristan and I talked, I made a point of, before we went out to Arkansas, our very first time, I know from being a native Illinois bow hunter that the number one focus of the game wardens in Illinois is the deer. And I really believe that they don't eat. I think they just drink 5 hours and they don't even sleep at all. Yeah, and they're in helicopters, they're in planes, they have to do what they do because there's so many people out there trying to cheat the system, right? There's always somebody out there trying to do it wrong. And what's tough, and I think that's what you're alluding to a little bit about North Carolina sometimes, is it puts these game wardens in a position that, and I've experienced this in Illinois with deer hunting, to where you feel like, dude,
they're watching you.
Yeah, why are you attacking me, bro? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you should be coming to me as a fellow hunter and just say, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? Stick to the facts. And I'm a military guy, so anything outside that gets emotional, it freaks me out. I'm just like, no, dude, stick to the facts. And you don't need anything else than, do I have a hunting license? Do I have my proper stamps? Are you hunting ethically?
Yeah, permission slip.
But you pressed a button on me, and this is where I'm going with all this.
Yep.
And I feel sorry for outfitters, all right, because I've experienced this with Cade out in Delta Thunder. You shooting these ducks and stuff or whatever, and you feel like you have to cut the duck hunt short, because if a game warden walks up, like you said, and finds that cripple, you now are over the limit. And if you're running a business and you're over the limit, now you got a target on your back.
Yeah.
Now you got And I know many times that Cade has been like, all right, let's stop right now. And we're sending the dogs out, and everybody else here, let's go look and do our damn best. I mean, and we walk where we can legally walk, without cutting across people's property lines or anything, to make sure that we have retrieved every animal. Yeah,
that's right.
And stuff, but yeah, no, it's crazy how sometimes they can be a little bit overbearing. I appreciate what they do, and thank you for what you do. But if you're a game warden, and you're listening to this, I'll hit you between the eyeballs. Yeah, I'll hit you between the eyeballs. Two things: one, most importantly, thank you for your service. Number two, remember that most of us, just like old Luke Bryan said, most people are good. And that's the truth. Most of us are, but keep looking for those ones that are doing the wrong things.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. And they catch them, and we've been checked. I can't tell you. There was that same year I was checked 4 different times by 4 different game wardens in 4 different counties. Wow. And one in Kansas. We got checked while we were in Kansas. The day we absolutely wore them out.
Of course.
2 game wardens walked us in Kansas. They can't go on your property unless they know there's a direct violation going on. So you have to allow them on the property. So they just stood out there, and finally my friend Joe was like, just told them, like, come on in, like, just come check us. Like, we're here, we got our stuff. And literally we were all good, but I got checked 4 times that year. And then 1 out of state. And it was like, dang, man, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know. I think I haven't been checked but twice after that. But no, it hasn't been bad, but they have a hard job. There's a job that I don't think I could do, but I think someone's got to do it. They're there,
and they're not paid that well.
No, they don't. I mean, they have a tough job.
And most of those guys, like you're kind of saying, Dad, like they're doing it for that they love it.
Yeah, of course they do.
At the end of the day,
I mean, Tristan, you even thought about doing it as a young man. And it's from the passion of the sport, protecting the sport. And I think that's where all those men and women come from.
Yeah, I mean, that was my interest in it. And, I think that's probably a lot of people,
But the only thing that turned you was the pay. I remember him going, Dad, Yeah, I can't raise a family on
Well,
this.
the other thing too is I think I think it's honestly a hard position to get because like I was 19 at the time and just had quit what I was doing in college and or 20 and I thought just why not just apply for you see what happens with Florida, and I knew I would have had to go in the police academy beforehand and stuff. And I didn't hear back for 2 years, but I got thinking about it. Of course I went on with life and did other stuff, but I got thinking about it. I'm like, these guys that are, police officers or, they're a Marine vet, of course, like they're going to get, fast track through all that stuff. And, if they're an outdoorsman and stuff and they want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the other flip side, and let's, we did not expect this to go down this rabbit hole, y'all, but this is what we love about the podcast show. All right, so check this out.
Right.
So here's where we can give some mad respect to these wildlife officers. If you guys watch Northwoods Law, Yellowstone Law, any of those shows on TV was showing game wardens and stuff, one of their most important roles is saving people's lives.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we hear about it all the time. People getting lost in the mountains, Georgia, or the Colorado Rockies, or, the Appalachian Mountains over there with you guys, and all these different places that it could kill 2 or 3 days of just them out there searching for somebody to save their life.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, not to go down another rabbit hole, but do y'all remember that stuff that happened here in North Carolina or I guess it's South Carolina? But the guy who fell off the boat and drowned and all that sort of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just insane. And I know game wardens. My buddy, he's a deputy sheriff down there in Brunswick County, which borders the county the guy passed away in, and he was on the Marine unit. And man, he said they were out there for days and nights. He said game wardens, they were out there days and nights, constantly looking for these folks. And I was like,
Do you want coffee that doesn't suck? Get the Duck. Dirty Duck coffee is made specifically for the waterfowl enthusiast. Enjoy flavors like Morning Wood, Dark Dynasty, Cinnamon Teal Snickerdoodle, and First Flight to unlock the flavor that you'll enjoy in the blind for years to come. Our friends at Dirty Duck Coffee Company are now offering all Zero Duck 30 followers a 15% discount when you use code ZeroDuck15 on your next order.
I never really thought about like game wardens. I guess it happened, while they hunted in a different state, but even North Carolina game wardens, they said they were pulling game wardens in from like the western part of the state to just come help try to look for this guy. And I'm like, that is crazy. They have a lot to do. They have so much to do when it comes to search and rescue like that too, when it comes to hunters and people being lost.
Yeah. And to be fair to them, like, they don't really know. Well, I guess kind of a two-part thing. What I was thinking about here is like they don't really know what they're getting into when they're coming to check somebody.
No, man.
It's like somebody they every 100th time it might be that one asshole. That
if I was that person, I'm in the position to try to protect my life immediately upon walking up to somebody I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and no different than a cop making a traphic stop.
Absolutely,
really.
man.
Yeah, and that was the thing. When I was a police officer, I talked to a few game wardens. And I was like, we expect to see guns every single time we deal with somebody. Like, that's kind of like your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they have guns? If they do have a gun, what am I going to do? But like, you automatically go into it knowing someone's going to have some kind of weapon that could hurt you. So you just walk, I wouldn't say blindly, but you walk towards it, and they have a gun. They have a bow and arrow. How they have a way to hurt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, like for us, we kind of expect it, but we don't know. But they know.
Yeah. Kind of in that same vein, like, I think one of those shows is like Lone Star Law or something like that. I think there's a game warden show about Texas. And one thing, I guess Florida is kind of a similar situation, but one thing I didn't even realize is like some of these states, they could be dealing with immigration issues. And, they're out there, or California, you're out there, checking people for trout, and you find a weed, people growing weed out in the mountains or something.
Yeah, sure.
And they're defending it with, freaking AKs or something. Like, it is a thankless job in a lot of ways,
It is. And one thing I want to say on this note, for everybody that's out there that's just got this negative opinion, because I will say, if you're an Illinois bow hunter, or you have bow hunted in Illinois or deer hunted in Illinois, you would probably say that the game wardens are assholes. I mean, I'm just like, get straight to it. I really will, because they're overbearing at times. You know, I almost got a ticket and got accused of spotlighting because I had an emergency radio in the back of my Jeep with, you know how it's got like a halogen bulb? I mean, not halogen bulb, a fluorescent bulb on one side and a flashing light on the other side.
Yeah.
He pulls it out of my Jeep and goes, "And what is this?" And I go, "You know exactly what the hell that is." I mean, but you know, here's where I'm going with this, with these guys. Most cases, what I found, if you run into a game warden, stick your hand out, man. Just stick your hand out and just say, "Hey, sir, thank you for what you do. My name is Tony Vogel." You know, Tristan and I ran into some game wardens that were monitoring some potentially illegal activity in Tennessee. Yeah. First time we went to Arkansas, we stopped in Tennessee to check out some areas. And you know what? Even though they were under the stress of doing that, we stuck our hands out, told them who we were. They gave us tips. They told us where we could, some good insight, man. That's awesome. We had an Arkansas, I won't mention his name on this podcast, just because I probably don't have his permission, but there's a very well-known game warden in the heart of Northeast Arkansas. First time Tristan and I was out there, he pulled us aside after a week and basically said, "Hey, let me see your phone." And he goes, "Go here tomorrow morning." You know, and he helped us out.
That's so cool.
You know, because we stuck our hands out and just showed them that, hey, people that have something to hide don't talk to game wardens. I mean, they just don't. That's right. And if you just stick your hand out, you can go a long way with game wardens. And
I have a good relationship with the one here in our county. He's super nice. He's a new game warden, but man, he's really nice. And there's a lot of good folks out there. And there's ones just like there is anywhere else that just are out to write a ticket. That's what they love doing, is writing tickets. And you're gonna find those every now and then. But most of us are good hunters, and most of us are good, you know, law-abiding citizens. Most of them are really awesome game wardens. And you just have those ones every now and again that's looking to write a ticket. I mean, it happens.
Yep, for sure. Well, you know, being a East Coast guy, you know, and just all the different types of waterfowl that you can get on the East Coast and as well as other areas, you know, is there anything that, you know, you're, from a duck hunting perspective, you know, you're chasing, you know, whether it be, you know, I had on the outline, like some ideas I had were like, you know, like a lot of people go up to the Northeast to get that black duck or like a mottled duck or a whistling duck in Florida. You know, is there anything that's you're kind of looking at just from an East Coast perspective that you're like, man, I want to get on that, you know?
Well, if you want to kill a wood duck, this is the state to do it. That's for sure. That's what we have predominantly. But I mean, I tell you, like this year in my hunting club, I'm in a hunting club down east, and we couldn't beat the pintails off of us this year, dude. We couldn't. Really? We couldn't keep them out of the decoys.
What?
Yeah, man. I mean, we get a lot of pintails in eastern North Carolina. Now, you go past about Greenville, which is like we start calling down east after Greenville. But down east, man, and down east and on the coast and in the Sound and the impoundments in Hyde County, man, you can kill pintails and widgeon just about every single time. Wow. If the weather's right and if the birds are cooperating. Now, if it's warm outside, forget it. If it's the best duck hunting and on the East Coast, in my opinion, is when it's pouring rain, cold, and windy. That is your best duck. The best hunts I had this past year were in my hunting club. It's kind of like you pick your dates. Let's say if it's warm and no wind and blue skies, you can cancel your day and choose like another day. And what I would do this year, every time I did it, it was a day where it was just not good conditions. And so I ended up going on the wet and nasty and cold days, and we beat them down every single time. And you can, man, pintails this year were just insane. I killed a bunch of pintails down east, but I killed a stud in the a cornfield. The first time I ever hunted a cornfield, like in a layout blind in Kansas this year, and I killed a stud pintail out there. Man, I was like, man, I'm putting this trick on the wall just because it was cool. It was the first time hunting hunting layouts in a cornfield.
Yeah,
and also, you know, we were shooting mallards and stuff like it was wild. But
I want to get back to the you know, kind of thing you're targeting still, but I thought something was really interesting that you said about the you know, the weather, because you know, a lot of times in like the Midwestern states, you're right. It's like, you know, your bluebird north wind days are the killing days. And something we've noticed in Florida and South Georgia, South coastal Georgia, is like those days that, and the only thing I can attribute to is maybe it keeps the ducks restless and, you know, something like that. But man, you're spot on. It's something about those gross days. Like, it's like we always joke, like foul weather is great for waterfowl in Florida. I don't know what about our flyway makes them do that, but it's so true.
No, yeah. If you want to kill a pintail, I'd say definitely find you somewhere, and if pintail's on your bucket list, I would come to North Carolina, eastern North Carolina, and find you a good guide and go out there and kill one, because they're plentiful, and definitely in January. After Christmas, you're golden. So
about the pintails, it's funny because in Northeast Arkansas, where, you know, our buddy Kay that owns this Delta Thunder Outfitters is, that's, you know, most of the years, like they're just covered up with pintails like most of the year, and like most of the ducks you see flying are pintails, and it's like when you look way up in the sky, and they joke about it. They're like, I mean, obviously the facts are the facts. The pintails are, you know, the population's down, but it's like in these certain pockets, like what I'd imagine you're talking about. It's like it doesn't even. I mean, it seems like if the limit could be 20, you could shoot 20 in a day. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Now they're very finicky. Like, so in our hunting club, we'll put out a decoy spread in the beginning of the hunt. If something's not working, we move, we adjust. The one time this year when we really got into the pintails, I had a group of 6 hunting in my blind. It was a group of 6 of us, and I had 2 dudes in there that never killed pintails, and they wanted to kill a pintail. And so we had to move the decoys. We have them out right to the left of us, to the right of us, and we were kind of expecting them to land right in the middle. Well, they landed far to our left. So we picked up our left-hand side decoys and moved our decoys on the right side another like 10 yards. Well, then they got a little bit close, started landing a little bit closer. And I'm like, all right, well, we're still not doing something right. So I said, let's take these decoys, let's reduce our spread to about 8 ducks and put them as far right as we can to see what they do. Literally, they started landing in our lap every single time. They're, you know, during that late season, they're finicky. They've seen all the decoy spreads. And we're hunting like stationary blinds, so, you know, a lot of times they know what the blinds are. They're not dumb. They've seen it all. They've traveled all up and down, and they know to stay away from blinds. So this time, they're like, all right, the ducks are up there. They're hunting up there, so we're going to go right here. And that's literally all it took was, once you got it right, literally we limited out, and we killed all 6 of our pintails drakes in like an hour.
Wow, and they are so finicky, man. I don't know how they fly, you know, North Carolina, obviously, but like, just in the difference, the contrast versus Florida and Arkansas, for example, because really we've hunted Georgia, Florida, Arkansas. Those are the main 3 states we hunt, and you know, in Arkansas, like you'll just see, you'll be sitting there and you'll look up and see, oh, there's 50 pintails, and they'll get to the point where they're like 100 yards off you know, off the water, and they'll circle you a few times and then get a little bit closer, and then they just keep getting higher and higher. And you never get to call them in. And in Florida, there's not a ton of numbers, so usually like they're in your lap if they're gonna come, you know.
Yeah.
But they are so finicky in a state like Arkansas. Like, I mean, it's almost
that one more turn is what every pintail
one more pass.
One more pass. And you know what? Spoonies will do that crap too. They'll do the spoonies will do the same damn thing. But those pintails, man, and I'll tell you what, a good buddy of ours turned us on to something this year that. It's true. I mean, I've just seen the facts of it. The more white you have in your spread, the more pintails are laying there. Well, I can't, or landing or coming in there. I can't tell you how many pintails we had on dry fields during snow goose season that were wanting to fall into the spread, dude.
That's wild. I've seen a lot of videos on like TikTok or whatever, just throughout conservation snow goose season of the exact same thing we saw. And it makes, you know, it's obviously it's true.
Well, you remember when we hunted with our buddy? Yeah. Towards the end of the season, he had some silhouette snow geese silhouettes out there.
He was saying like in Missouri, like they'll do it. That's how they.
It's
kill
like a
them.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like that's how they're going to kill them. They hunt them that. But Kent, one thing I wanted to get back to, just and not like spiral way out of control on this one, but one thing you mentioned was when you hunt these different environments, like when you started hunting the marshes and obviously getting out there sea duck hunting. One thing that I think makes waterfowl such an incredible sport is how many different games you have to play depending on where you are. I've always said, and if you follow this podcast, you've heard me say several times that it could be a difference of 20 miles. You find that expert that knows how to hunt them ducks in that environment and how they do it and how they go about doing it. I know guys that just, you would swear that they got 10 bags of corn out there for them wood ducks, but they know how to find them. They know how to smoke their ass, and they're great at it. No different than, the folks that, I always give props to those guys over at Dr. Duck because they work hard for that public timber, man. I mean, there's a reason why they have the success that they have, and
I'll tell you one thing that really, I was talking about Dr. Duck and stuff like that. There's a guy here locally. He's a trooper and he hunts with those guys. And he was telling me like their connections is insane. And that's one thing about me as well, as I have connections all over the state. Around here, we're hunting swamps and stuff. You just walk in, you can shoot wood ducks and mallards and gadwall. But say you go down east and, you can't just drive anywhere you want to drive. You got to know the channels. So I have friends all over the place who live in, say, the Core Sound. They live in Hatteras. They live in the Outer Banks. They live in Currituck. They know those waters. You got to find the people who know what they're doing and who know where the ducks are, and we can scout them. Like, I'll go down east and go with my buddy, but when we take his boat, he's like, all right, you go here, I'll go there. He already has the marks on his GPS where to go for the channels and stuff. But if I went out there by myself, I would be lost because I don't know exactly where these channels are on this tide, on that tide. Yep. And you got, the thing about it is you got to have connections. And that's one thing that I've been blessed with on the East Coast. I have connections everywhere. And, we work for these ducks, but we also go with people who are local in that area, who know the ducks, who know where they're going to be at, know what their kind of pattern is. And then if someone who's just getting into it, find somebody in your area or where you want to go, and find somebody who's local like that and can show you exactly how you do it. So one, you don't get yourself hurt. Two, you can know what you're doing and you're not really wasting your time. And three, you can kill ducks.
And that's a good point, Kent. And there's so many people that there's a lot, duck hunting. It's like a two-side thing because there's some people that are just, going to be assholes because they're assholes. But there's a lot of people out there that if you just ask them or whatever, that, a lot of guys have shot their ducks. They love seeing other people have success and stuff. And you get connected with the right guy that wants to, give back or whatever. And then, you might help them, pay for whatever, pay for some gas, buy them breakfast, whatever you got to do. But then go help him do some work at his property or whatever. And
go brush blinds. You keep. Sometimes I keep the same friends year round, and I keep up. I'm like, hey man, whenever you start brushing blinds, let me know. I'll come help you brush blinds. Hey, like one time this year, my buddy had an issue with his trailer. Man, I went and paid for all his stuff. You didn't tell how many times he's boated his trailer back and forth for us duck hunting.
Yeah,
I went
that's cool.
I'll run to the store. I'll get the bearing we need. Come back and I'll help you fix it. You know what I mean? Just little stuff like that. Not to where like, hey, you go stay at the store. I'll stay here at the truck. You go pay for it. You go fix it. If you're going to be there, you might as well be there and help, do whatever you can to make them want to have you back next time,
That's a great point, man.
That is a great point. And, it's like I would say you could do a quick checkup from the neck up. And if you find yourself that you're only talking to your duck hunter friends during duck season, you're missing the boat. You're missing the boat, buddy, because it's not about that at all. And if you're that selfish, I mean, you're going to hopefully transition out of that. I think a lot of people, when they first get into hunting, they just want to kill, I mean, we all did.
Yep.
We all did. But then we grow as sportsmen and we start to go, dude, there's nothing more satisfying than seeing a smile on somebody else's face.
That's right. That's right.
It's just like
That's
I tell Kate all the time. I was like, dude, I'm going to shoot my ducks. He goes, I know you are, Tony. I know you are. I know. I mean, I'm going to go out there and hunt hard and shoot my ducks. But at the same time, at the end of the season, if I had to take my time and say, where did it go? I hope that 75 minimum % of my time was to helping somebody else out, help them have a better experience or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, and we have just been really big through our Zero Duck 30 channel and stuff about, you know, it's you can reach out publicly and ask for help. You can, and don't be afraid to do it, dude. If you love the sport, be bold about it and just say, man, be humble. Be humble. And
like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but teach me.
Yeah, because I can guarantee you, if I'm in the timber of Arkansas and it's a half an hour before shooting light and your boat comes rolling up, I already know you don't know what the hell you're doing. Or you got your ass beat to a spot and you're trying to find
playing
someone.
CD.
But here's what I'm going to say is, bro, get over here.
Yeah.
Get over here. And, you know, if I see somebody sitting up too close to us, I'm probably going to go over and say, look, how many times have you been here? Because you don't quite know what you're doing. Instead of going over there and saying, get the F away from me. You're set up way too close and all that stuff. No, most cases, y'all, I would say 9 out of 10 times. If you have somebody set up too close to you, if you're in a timber, if you're in the marsh, I don't care where you are, it's probably because they haven't had the right guidance. And you just got to help those people, you know. And on the flip side, your responsibility of those people helping you is you better keep your damn mouth shut. That's your only job, is to keep your mouth shut if we're talking about private or public land.
That's right.
Good stuff, man. So
it is.
So, you know, with you guys is jumping back into your brand, you know, because that's the main reason why we have you on here tonight is, you know, do you do all this hat design in house? I mean, you guys to be pumping this stuff out is just amazing to me.
Yeah. So, I have a guy here that works for me, and he does most of my designs here in house. I say at least 60% in house. I have a guy that I know if I want this certain design, to look a certain way, I'll get him. And I have another lady that lives in Outer Banks, and if I want depending on what I want, I will outsource it. But most of the time, 60% of the time, it's done in house. And he works for me, and he does whenever for our B2B stuff. Say if I want a design and I want this on this design, let's say like a person walking back with a duck in their hand, or, you know, a dog sitting on a log on a tree or something like that. You can tell him exactly what you want, he'll make it happen. Wow. And a lot of our designs are that way, and where he does in-house. And sometimes, like some of our t-shirt designs, they're done outsourced different ways to different people and different patches. I have a lady that's really good at putting patches together, and she's put up some of our best-selling patches together. And man, it's most of it's done in-house here, but I say 40% of it's done out of house. But it's awesome being able to do it right here, because I can have a thought in my head. Most of the time, my ideas come from just random thoughts, and I'll email them to myself. And then when I get into the office next morning, I'll just go ahead and be like, hey, can you do this design for me? And let's write it out and let's make it perfect. And we can usually hammer it out like that.
That's well, fun, you guys are cool. Pumping out enough designs that literally, you know, somebody like me that's got ADD, you know, it's kind of like,
oh, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, dude, I've walked into Bass Pro so many times to get a frog lure, and I walk in and I know exactly what I want. I get there and I go, all right.
What was I going to get?
Yeah. And I start looking at frog lures, and I'm like, all right, there is 79 different frog lures here. And I go, and I left. I just didn't even buy one. But you guys and stuff, I really believe that when you sit there and you just go through all the different designs and stuff you guys have, there's a hat for everybody, man. I mean, there really
That's
is.
Right.
And I'm just talking about hats alone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I would have to say that, and I don't want to speak for the owner of the company, but that's you guys' sweet spot are the hats.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not really a t-shirt brand.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a hat brand. And if you say if you like shooting wood ducks, we got hats with our wood duck is our best selling design. If you're a guy like this in Florida and you're shooting the crap out of blue wing teal, we have 2 blue wing teal hats. When we went to our Florida show this past summer, man, I don't ever sell blue wing teal stuff really anywhere I go, but down there I sold like 24 of each of our. We sold out of the blue wing teal stuff because everybody's like, "Dang man, no one puts a blue wing teal on that. I gotta have that."
Exactly.
And if you love shooting pintails, you love shooting widgeon, mallards, whatever you want. Most of the time we have multiple designs with multiple different designs with the duck you want. Either you enjoy chasing turkeys, surf scoters. We even have a deer hat. I have some buddies that I need you to put a deer on a hat. Well, I made a couple deer hunting hats for them.
Ain't it funny, the buddies that are like, because from our very limited experience compared to what you do, it's funny when our buddies are like, yeah, you need this hat, and they're like, dude, you don't even know what goes into making that hat. Like you got the upfront money on that, bud.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it is funny how that happens though, is that you do have that kind of thing. But really at the end of the day, everything you have produced has been so from feedback of your customers. I mean, this guy, I'm just going to give a couple highlights here. It's not uncommon to see East Coast Waterfowl post a video of somebody very popular wearing their hat at a concert or something like that. I mean, you guys have just done an incredible job, man.
Well, I appreciate it. We try to put, I have so many people that are like, man, I really like this hat, but I want it like this. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take that and I'll run with it and make a hat. And hey, man, give me the idea. Here's you a couple hats.
That's cool.
And that is pretty cool seeing that. And then if that design really sells, go, hey, man, if you want a few more hats, hand to your buddies. Here you go. Thank you. That design's doing well. We get feedback from our customers. We get feedback from friends and family and everything. And it's so awesome being able to produce it and know how to do it and meet the needs of the customer. And I think that's what makes us different from a lot of other people.
Heck yeah.
Well, what I know you guys are always on the road, or at least
our partners at Huntwise are offering an exclusive discount for Zero Duck 30 followers. As an elite member, some of the features you'll immediately gain access to are Huntcast, Windcast, peak kill times, property lines, owner information and phone lookup, 250 map layers, unlimited offline maps, 3D maps, social media, and on top of it all, save up to 50% off some of the top hunting brands in the industry. Download and explore the #1 hunting tool set today and save 20% by using code DUCK30.
You are, Kent, with all the different shows and stuff, what do you guys got planned here between, now and the end of the year? Yeah, if you could.
So show season's almost over, but we have a couple more shows. We have Delta. We have a local show here in June. It's a kind of more of a. They have a little bit of everything out. It's called Outdoor Living, but it's basically a little bit of everything. So we're gonna do that one in June, and then in July we go to the Delta Waterfowl Expo end of July. And then in August, we go to Virginia Outdoor Expo, which is the big one in Virginia. That's the beginning of August. And then at the end of August, we have our own show. Me and a friend, Trent, on Spring Hill Outfitters, will do a bunch of duck hunting with him. We put up on our own show. We created our own show. I took everything from all the shows that I've been to that I liked and put it into this one. You can go there, and we have live music all the time. We have demonstrations, flamethrower demonstrations, dog demonstrations. You can go out there, and we have all the big name brands such as like Benelli, Rite, Browning, any kind of shotgun you like, Beretta. And you can go there, shoot that shotgun during a demo, and then come inside and buy that shotgun. So if you are in the market for a shotgun, you go there and you say, I want to shoot the Benelli Super Black Eagle 3, and I want to shoot a Beretta A400 Extreme Unica. And you go out there and you shoot both of them. All right, I shoot better with the Beretta, or I shoot better with the Benelli. I'm going inside and buy that shotgun. So we've done that. And so we have our show. That is the last weekend, the weekend before dove season in August, the 26th and the 27th in Selma, North Carolina. It's right in the middle of the state, right off a major interstate. It's an awesome show. And then after that, the last one we have for the year is in Easton, Maryland. That's the Waterfowl Expo, or the Waterfowl Festival. And then that's it for this year. And then we start show season back up in January and February and March of next year. We've been to New Jersey in January. In February, we did NWTF. And then we have our big one, the Dixie Deer Classic, in March. And then South Carolina in March as well. And then April, we did the Florida show. So we've been on the road burning them up for this year. It's kind of slowed down this time of year, and it's starting to grind back up once July and August hit and September and dove season gets around. All that stuff starts heating up. People start talking about hunting and thinking hunting. So we're excited to be on. We love going on the road. That's probably my favorite part, is going out and meeting people at these shows and them seeing them love the hats. And I get a lot of ideas for hats at these shows when people's like, "Hey man, this is cool, but it'd be cooler if you did this." I'm like, "All right, cool. I got you." Wait for it to come out in the fall. Like, I had a guy said, "Man, no one has a gadwall on the hat." And I'm like, "I actually don't have a gadwall on the hat." I said, "I'm gonna make a gadwall hat." So I got a gadwall hat coming out this fall.
That's awesome. It's kind of like y'all got one on the Hooded Merganser, I think, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
That's the same kind of deal. Like the ugly duckling that doesn't get any love.
Oh yeah, people love that hat. A lot of times at Christmas, everybody has like their Friendsmas, and that's probably that. I run an ad that says, "Get your friend that's in your gag gift, get him a Merganser hat, for that gag gift." Because everybody has that one friend who loves shooting a Merganser.
That's right.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, man. So one of the things that I was wanting to ask you, with the fact that you're going to all these shows and everything, is what does it take for you as a business and a company, and I break this down with outfitting a lot, that, hey, you show up and you just come in and shoot your ducks. You show up and you go to these shows, and I mean, it's got to take a ton of work and logistics and everything else to make those kinds of things happen.
Yeah, well, it takes a transmission in a Dodge truck, and
somebody likes Laney Wilson.
Yeah, man, dude. It takes a lot. I have a 16-foot enclosed trailer. It's actually at the shop right now getting fixed. I mean, I got $2,700 to fix everything that needs to be fixed because I haven't had it fixed since COVID, because they've been shut down and hadn't been able to get anything. And so finally they're getting back to where they can start servicing. I've been waiting on my trailer to get serviced for a year, and it's just, it takes time and effort that people really don't see when it comes to that. And then, it takes about 3 days prior to leaving for a show to get ready for a show. Wow. For us to pack all the shelves, make all the hats that need to be made, pack all the shelves, unbag all the shirts that are already bagged, put them on the shelf. Once you put them on the shelf, wrap it all up, and then pack up the 50 other things, such as like keychains, decals, tumblers, can koozies,
signage,
signage, everything. And it just takes so much loading it up. And then by the time you get there, like last year we went to the show in Arkansas, me and my brother left the night before at 5:00, drove throughout the entire night, got there we left at 8:00, and then got there in the morning. We drove through the night all the way across the country, set up, and then got a couple hours of sleep that night by the time we ate dinner and took a shower and all that sort of stuff, and then grinded it out the whole weekend at the show, then packed it all back up and came back home.
That sounds harder than duck hunting.
Yeah. It is a grind. People don't understand the grind it takes. I have a couple buddies who are trying to get into shows. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you really want to get into all this.
We say the same thing about videography and what we do, and then the media side of it. We're just like, look,
it ain't as easy as it looks.
No, it's not. You got to really, you got to love what you do, I guess. But
that's right. And I love it. I love going out there and meeting all the folks. And me and my brother, Seth, he's my main guy, main helper. And he's been with me for a couple years now. And we now literally have a system to where we can pack the trailer. I have a team here, the team that works for me. They can all pack it a certain way, and they know everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and pack it this way where me and Seth can have the trailer unloaded in the booth and everything set up in about 3 hours.
That's awesome.
And so and then to get in there the next morning, fine tune it, put the signage out, that sort of stuff, and then you're ready to go. Like, but if I was just to give this to some random person, it'd take them a whole day to set up. But me and my brother have a way that we have fine tuned it because we've done so many shows. And he was telling me yesterday, he's like, "Man, when's your next show? I really miss doing shows." I was like, "It's in a couple of weeks. Don't you worry."
You're like, are you insane? This wasn't on the outline, but it's something that I just can't wait to hear about. And man, what is your best crazy story? All your years in the waterfowl hunting.
Duck hunting?
For duck hunting. What's that one thing when I asked you this question, and I'm just putting you on the spot here, that just stands out to you? Share that with all of us.
There's a couple. There's a couple good ones.
Good. Tell them both. Or 2 or 3, whatever you got.
The first one is when I was second year of college. Brother was in high school. And I told my mom, I said, I really want to carry Travis on this a duck hunt at the coast. I said, find us a guide and give it to us for Christmas, and we'll go out there, and I'll take them out there, and we'll go. And I gave her a list of 3 guys to see if they had availability. Well, we found one guy, and it's called sink boxes, where you're literally sitting eye level with the water, right?
Wow.
And so the way it worked is you only fit 2 people in there, and this guy only had 2 sink boxes, and he had 3 clients that day. One person sits in a boat blind, and you rotate out of these sink boxes, right? And so you have about 400 decoys out in front of you. We drew the boat blind first. We went there. He gave us, well, here's where you're going to hunt. Draw out of this hat. And I picked up, said boat blind. I said, all right, cool. I said, I'm cool. Whatever. We're all going to get the same amount of equal time, whenever, throughout the day shooting. Well, me and my brother were sitting this boat blind, and it starts getting light, and we've shot a couple redheads. The guy came and shot a couple bluebills, and this was like right when the GoPros came out. I got GoPro for Christmas. I was so pumped up. We came in. I got the GoPro first 2 kill shots on GoPro. Me and my brother, like a flock, like 4 bluebills came in. We dropped 2. And I was like stoked. I was like, heck yeah, this is awesome. And so I'm like, and then we're sitting there, and it's starting to get rough. And man, we start missing the crap out of buffalo heads. Buffalo heads were everywhere, dude. And we were just missing them. And finally, we had knocked down 2 drakes, and Travis was out the boat getting them, and he was coming back, and I said, Travis, look at all those redheads. That's a huge line of redheads. And he says, yeah. He said, looks like they're coming this way. I said, they ain't coming this way, buddy. I can promise you that. And sure enough, dude, I said, they started looking like they were really wanting. I'm like, oh crap, Travis, hurry. So he literally falling in the boat, and he pops up, shoves one bullet in his shotgun, one shell in his shotgun. And man, I bet it was a group of, I don't even want to exaggerate. I want to say 1,000, but I'll say 700.
Wow.
700 redheads come in, and my brother goes, holy crap. And I'm like, dude, shoot them. And we shoot. There's redheads falling everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, Travis really supposed to kill 4. But it was so rough, we couldn't even get them ourselves. We called the guy on the radio, like, hey man, he's like, please tell me y'all dropped some of that group, because he was sitting off where he could see us.
Yeah.
And he's like, how many did y'all drop? I'm like, I don't know. They're everywhere. We have 4 confirmed dead. Like 4 is confirmed dead, and they're floating to the front of the bow of the boat, but it's too deep and we can't get it. And he's like, all right, cool, I'm coming to come get them. So he comes and grabs those 4 ducks, and he's like, boys, I ain't seen that happen but about 4 times in the past 10 years. He said,
wow,
count that as a blessing. I was like, I ain't never seen him do like that again. But I told Trout, it was a wall of ducks, dude. It was absolutely insane. We both only shot once. He only had 1 shell, and of course my gun jammed after the first shell. But
Wow.
that was the
sounds like
coolest.
it's a good time. It's a good thing that it did.
Yeah, that's right. And then he killed. We went to the sink box after we killed the redhead, and he's like, "Well, what are y'all after?" I said, "I really want my brother to kill a pintail." And sure enough, we were able to kill our pintail in no time.
Wow.
He killed a red-breasted merganser. He was pumped up about that.
Oh, that's actually like one of my dad's like hit list birds is that red-breasted merganser.
Dude, let me tell you something. All right, don't judge me, merganser folks, coot folks, all y'all. A red-breasted merganser is the fastest waterfowl bird on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you shoot that sucker, male or female, you are badass. Period.
Mm-hmm.
A period. I had an opportunity at one on public land, and we were wrapping up the hunt, of course, pulling up the decoys, all that kind of stuff. And the main channel's out in front of us. Here comes some guys on their mud motor coming down the channel. To my left comes 180,000 mile per hour Drake red-breasted merganser. I could see it as clear as day. And it got within about, they would say it was closer, but I would say 50 yards of their bow. And I had to let it rip, tater chip. I mean, I did. I was like, you know what? You guys can bitch me out later. I'm not endangering your safety, but yeah, I am firing off your bow. And I let it rip, and I didn't come close to that damn thing. I didn't come close. And my buddy turned around, he said, do you know what you just did? And I go, which part? Shot and missed a red-breasted merganser, or two shot over the bow of their boat? And he goes, both, you dumb son of a bitch. but that's the only opportunity I've had at one. But it's on my bucket list.
Yeah, everyone down here in North Carolina, man. Trout fish in the wintertime, and man, he's like, man, what are all these ducks flying everywhere? I'm like, Dad, they're mergansers. Like, they're not good ducks. He's like, I thought I found you a honey hole. I said, no. maybe for you, it'd be a honey hole. I can get you on them.
There you go. Well, so Kent, one thing I saw that you guys are doing that's really unique, on the website and through social media and stuff is the scholarship for Collin Winslow, and I just think it's a really neat thing. Can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So Collin was a big time. He loved turkey hunting, loved duck hunting, loved deer hunting, and he was in North Carolina, East North Carolina is where he lives. He lived right near Jared and them, and he was involved in a hunting accident where the gun went off and it accidentally killed him instantly, unfortunately. But it's a terrible situation, a terrible thing that happened to some. I'd hate for anyone to go through that. Sure. But we heard about it when people reached out and said he absolutely loved East Coast Waterfowl, and when he killed his turkey this past year, he was wearing it, and they happened to use the picture of him wearing the hat in his memorial.
Wow.
So we decided to do something about it. His family created a scholarship fund, and I got his whole baseball team and group of friends together, and everyone kind of gave ideas of what they thought should go on the hat and all the things that he loved. And so we combined all of that onto a patch for him, and it has his name, our name, a baseball, has a turkey fan. He loved turkey hunting. He was on the shooting team, his local high school. So they wanted to do the shotgun and rifle, which he participated in. And his number 18 for his baseball that he used for baseball. And man, so many people support that. We've sold hundreds of hats.
Wow.
I haven't tallied up the amount of number we have sold, but it is insane. I literally sold out of the first hat within like 30 minutes, second hat in 45 minutes. Excuse me. The third hat, I bought a ton of hats, pretty much cleaned out my supplier. And luckily we've been able to, let everyone who wanted one get one. And man, it's been so awesome. Had so many people reach out to us and thank us for what we're doing. And I just want to thank them. I talked to his dad, man. I talked to his dad for like an hour, and he was such a nice guy, such a great guy. Told me all about Collin, and I look forward to a video we're gonna have come out. He's coming here whenever we get everything together and ship all the hats out, and get him and do a little video with his dad and get him to kind of figure out what else can we do? And if there's anyone who wants to help, what they can do as well. And it's been such an honor to be a part of that. And I have a huge following, and I wanted to use that to our advantage of being able to get a scholarship fund, for someone else to be able to go to college in his honor.
Mm-hmm.
It was a terrible incident that happened. It was truly an accident, and I just cannot imagine what his family's been going through. But man, like his dad said, God is good, and he come through, and God has raised a lot of money and people, folks in the area and in North Carolina, and we have people from all over the country buy them just to kind of honor Collin. Sorry.
That's just amazing, man.
Yeah.
And I knew kind of just topically when we got into this, it's so out of the mainstream of the typical, it just seems like the outdoor industry to like do something like that. And I just thought that was really unique, and thank you for sharing that. It's so cool.
No,
it
was bold.
The thing that what made us, wanting to do it is like, man, I have a designer here in house. I can design this hat and have it made in production. And we started production on it today, and it's insane. Just how fast we can try to get these hats out. And I want to do something quick and fast. And I didn't want everybody want to do t-shirts and this and that. I'm like, guys, let's see what we can sell first. Hats are the easiest thing. It's usually one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be the best. He absolutely loved hats. And I wanted to be something that he loved.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that's great, man. It's awesome to see that you guys are doing that. And I guess, in that same vein, one of the things that we wanted to kind of ask here towards the end is just, what are some future, projects that you guys are working on, or some things that you're really like, man, I really want to.
What's that passion project?
Yeah.
Man, I'm not sure. I have a design we're coming out with this fall with a guy. I want to release too much because he's pretty well known, but we're going to put him on a t-shirt, and it's going to be so cool. And we're going to do a full-on story. If you follow us for very long, you remember we did a video for in the remembrance of my buddy's dog that passed away. And so we're going to do something kind of like a storyline on that. And if you want to go watch that video, the full video of the On Your Mark t-shirt, it was a project we did about my friend's dog who passed away this year. And I grew up hunting with her back in high school. And we did the whole storyline of when I started hunting with her hunting life and his life and career. And first picture I ever took of him and her, we put it on the back of the t-shirt, and it was such a cool passion project for us.
Wow.
And we're doing something similar to that this fall with something else. So stay tuned for that. It's going to come out right around probably like your Thanksgiving, Christmas time. So it should be awesome. I mean, I love doing like storyline projects and have a meaning behind it. You know what I mean? Instead of just buying a t-shirt or buying a hat just because it looks cool. Like I want people to be like, wow, that was an awesome story. I want to buy that t-shirt,
Yeah, no, I totally get it, man. Like from a video perspective, like the stuff that I like when it's something that I'm passionate about that I want to get out to people, I think is really cool. It's like I'll stay up all night editing a video, if it's something that I really care about, and it changes it when it's something that instead of just doing it to go through the motions, it's like, this is
a great example
really love,
was your wife's first duck hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, how can you not be passionate about that?
Yeah,
That's right.
And it wasn't only a great example of a woman entering her first duck hunt, but just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it, Tristan. It's that way, man. And there's no doubt that Kent, you are on fire. It seems like 365. Just the passion of what you're doing with what these hats. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, seriously, y'all. If you're listening to this, all you got to do is pull up a couple reels, pull up their website. It doesn't matter. The selection is nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
If you want to see where we're from, see where we came from, go to our Instagram page. our Instagram page. We have our 3 most like prominent things that how we started, where we're at, how it began. You can watch that those whole videos, and then we got the On Your Mark video pinned at the top too. And you can kind of look through and just see what we're passionate about right now. Lately, all the videos have been of just the Collin Winslow hats. So if you see a bunch of videos of that, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but that's why we're posting about it a whole lot. It's just because we just released that. Sure. But if you can kind of go through and you can see what we're passionate about, just scroll through the reels, check them out. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you can find us. We're there. Go on our website as well. We have our story on there, and we find us, hit us up. Tell me you enjoyed the podcast. Shoot me a DM wherever. I'm sorry if I'm terrible at DMs. I don't know how y'all are, dude, but I get so many DMs. It's hard for me to go through them. I go through them like once a month, but if I don't get back to you ASAP, I'll get back to you eventually for sure. But I appreciate y'all having me, and
yes, sir.
This has been awesome. I really appreciate it.
How much more pride can you have in wearing a brand than somebody that is a hard-working son of a gun like Kent here, that has built this from the ground up, has busted his ass to make this company, travels all over the place, and you throw that brand on your hat, it's got to mean something more to you than walking into an Academy Sports and just throwing a. I won't mention those names, but
yeah, I'm right there with you.
If you're me, I'd rather put an ECW hat on my head.
That's right. I mean, man, we absolutely love just seeing people out there wearing it. If I personally, me or my brother are always like, if we see you out there wearing it, we're gonna come up and talk to you, say thank you. We're all about we're hardcore hunters. We're not just throwing a duck on a hat just because everyone else is doing it. Mm-hmm. We're throwing a red head on a hat because, and if it's cut a certain way, well, guess what? I seen a redhead cut up just like that when we busted his tail. It's because cool. We're in it. We love it, and that's what we're trying to spread as people who love duck hunting. And just let them have something they can wear that represent.
But yeah, man, Kent, thanks so much for being on the show tonight. And just kind of wrap through real quick again where everybody can follow you, your website, social media, and everything else, and kind of wrap through that. And man, if I don't get to hunt with you soon, I'm missing out.
We're gonna make it happen. We'll make it happen this fall.
Yes, sir.
We'll come down and give you the North Carolina experience.
That'd be awesome.
I would love it.
Yes, sir. You can find us on Instagram at East Coast Waterfowl, TikTok, same thing, at East Coast Waterfowl, Facebook, same thing. And then the website's www.eastcoastwaterfowl.com. And man, even if you just type in duck hunting hat, I can promise you we're going to pop up on Google. So find
Beautiful.
Find us on there, and I appreciate y'all having me. It's been an awesome time. Thank y'all so much for everything.
We feel the same way about you coming on. It's a big deal for us to have you on. It's really cool. We appreciate it, Kent.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it. Enjoyed it. Awesome talking duck hunting.
All right.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on a midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.